My name is Jensen Cleon Saverio. People also call me Jensen. I was born on July 26, 2004 in Pangkal Pinang. My father is Claudio Ardian and my mother is Lucia. They both were also born in Pangkal Pinang. My grandfather's parents were immigrants from China who live in Indonesia. Because of that, my parents now follow Chinese tradition. I also have an older sister and brother. My older sister is Catherine Herrera and my brother is Luis Miguel Bentley. I already spent 12 years school in Kalang Kudus, which was dominantly occupied by Indonesian Chinese students, and half of them are non-Christian. I live in an environment which the majority being Indonesian Chinese. They all are nice to each other. There was a moment in my life when I experienced injustice. It happened when I was a kid. I have an evangelical church. At that time, my family had a charismatic group to pray together called Council. The church continues to insist that our group is a heretical group because at that time evangelical teachings were very contrary to charismatic teachings. These differences is in teachings which the church tell us to leave this church, but we all insist on staying and starting to adjust to the evangelical teachings there. Of course, this made us a bit difficult because these two teachings were contradictory and opposed, so that many members of our group started arguing because some of them follow the evangelical teachings. This debate is getting more and more because it is starting to have some people leaving this group. A few months later, the church finally started to accept us and stopped prohibiting non-evangelical teachings in this church. After all this time, we are finally able to go to church completely calm and do not feel any more differences among the church people here. That experience made me begin to rethink what they had all done. Does justice really exist? Maybe that's what I thought first. Justice is when nobody better than them. They can even fight for it by putting other people down. Just because their teachings were different, they dare to slander us all and forbid us to go to worship. Maybe for some people this was exaggerated, but this humiliation and injustice continued to stick in our hearts at that time. So we started to surrender everything to God and keep praying, and what happened was surprising. That the church apologized to us and allowed us to be able to worship again here. This opened my eyes that not all people with one religion are good and true, but also many people can change and never equate a community for the mistakes they have done. I acknowledge that thought I might be nobody, but I am an ambassador of peace and justice. Therefore, my view of fellow Christians has changed a bit. Back then, when I was a child, I always thought that Christians are the kindest people in the world. But after experiencing this incident that happened to me, I became convinced that not everyone here is good, and now I will be one of the many people who do good. I will convince myself that everyone will definitely change, as in my case, where the church has allowed us to return to worship. I will definitely convince many people to continue to spread justice equally for our friends.